Hello everyone, this is Mark and I'm here at my studio, the Action Figuratorium, and today I'm going to be doing another one of these what is, what are discussions where I bring up some type of action figure toy line you've never heard of or probably don't know that much about, and then we kind of discuss it and I give you a few examples. And this episode we're going to be talking about a series called Shadowrun Duels from the people who made HeroClix. You're probably wondering what the hell that is. That's these 1/12 inch, 6-inch figures that are a mix of fantasy and cybertronics, that kind of thing. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to talk a little bit about just the sculpts and the articulation alone. It's worth mentioning on these guys, so stick around. All right, thank you for joining me this morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. What are we talking about? We're talking about Shadowrun Duels. Okay, so I'm not really sure how far to back up. I don't know exactly what everybody knows about things like HeroClix, but let's start with that. It's a company called WizKids, and they make this game called HeroClix. HeroClix is kind of like what if chess figures went around and fought each other with weapons and attacks and armor and hit points and things like that. Okay, so take that, but now it could be not chess pieces, anybody they want. Could be Marvel figures, could be orcs and humans, could be space marines and aliens. And the little click system is the fact that the figures, which are usually about 1 to 2 inches, they have their little hit points on the pedestal, and as you click and move it around, it changes it. So if you can get up to 3 hits, and you click it, your guy's gone, that sort of thing. So that is HeroClix. Now, what they did sometime around 2002 is they decided to come out with some HeroClix that were not little guys, but in fact were these 6-inch figures, and had its own separate kind of game. So the idea is that not only it's a game, but now you're collecting action figures. And the world in which these guys came from was this sort of post-apocalyptic, we had all this science, but now the world ended, and we have magic again, kind of like that cartoon Thundar the Barbarian, if anybody out there remembers that show. I imagine that this is probably a big influence on that. Maybe also the RPG game Gamma World that I think TSR, the guys who did Dungeons and Dragons, put that out in the 80s. So either a show like Thundar or a game like Gamma World is kind of what this is about, where you have magic users and then you have, some science guys, cyborg guys, people with lasers, people who are like all, shredded up on steroids and stuff like that, versus like elves and trolls and that kind of thing. So that's what these lines are. That's what these characters are. And the figures themselves were sculpted and made by this toy company called Plan B. You can find their website is still online. I think their last copyright was 2020. So it seems like they still exist, at least on paper, and they probably have some clients. I don't really know that much about them. I couldn't find too much about Plan B other than the fact that, seems like some guys who are working on a few toy lines. So Plan B made these guys, and they did 2 waves, and there's 6 figures per wave. Okay, so that's a total of 12 figures available, plus there's 1 chase figure. And I happen to have 6 figures. So we're going to take a look at the 6 figures I have. 4 are from the first wave, 2 are from the second wave, and we're just going to talk a little bit about what these guys did to them to make them kind of cool, and also kind of where they skimped. So over to the other table. Let's go. Let's take these guys off. Those are second wave. You can see what we got here. So let me just kind of go through each of these guys. We'll talk about them a little bit. First guy is a troll mage. Now there is a Wikipedia page out there on Shadowrun Duels. And it looks like this. So there's a list of all the first guys. We got Lothan the Wise. That's the first dude who's up here. That is this troll mage. Now this guy is pretty awesome for an action figure. Weighs a lot, right? He's got hinge joints on the arms. The hands rotate. The shoulders rotate. He's got hinge joints on the knees. The legs move, right? The whole like torso swivels, right? It's an amazing sculpt. There's a ton of paint apps on this guy. If you could see all the paint detail that they put into this figure and some of these other figures, it is just amazing how much time and energy and how physically big he is. Plus he comes with like a necklace that's like a real chain, and he comes with like a little sort of medicine pouch there. This guy is super badass. He's got this cool, it's rubber, but it looks like it's kind of a cool molded leather sort of coat. This guy is a true like pimp. Look at these awesome horns. Very super cool, very sort of McFarlane-esque, we're gonna say. Okay, now check this dude out. This guy is an orc bouncer, right? And he's got a name, g-dogg. That's a dumb name, but it's a game where they're trying to get people, you know, psyched about it. So g-dogg here is an orc, and look, he's got, you know, hinged knees. He's got rocker feet. He has ball joint arms. The wrists rotate. Okay, he's actually got hair that is a separate molded rubber piece, and it itself has several different decos on it, meaning little paint jabs on it. There's a blue, there's a silver, looks like a gold. Quite a few of them. He's got a few extra pieces where he's got some sort of cybernetics where he's plugged in the back. I don't know if you can see that freakiness on him. And he's also kind of like wearing jeans, right, and a vest and a tie. He's supposed to be a bouncer, and he's got an amazing looking face sculpt. This guy would just be, I mean, you could easily put like a piece of soft goods over him and turn him into some like weirdo orc creature in some of these other fantasy lines. So this guy is pretty amazing. There's the super amount of paint on him, super detailed. The sculpt is out of control. He's pretty articulated compared to most McFarlane guys. This guy gets an A, and this guy gets an A. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the two females. I want you guys to take note of this, right? This female is the Japanese assassin or something, or a yakuza. I don't know, let's see here. Let's go back to my list. Kyushi, female yakuza assassin. Okay, so she has almost no articulation. The legs do not move. The boots do not move. The torso does not move. The hands rotate, and this one has a... Okay, so they're on a ball joint. The hands have a ball joint. The head moves. That's it. And then she's got like a rubber vest. She's kind of like the Storm from Secret Wars. So this figure has almost no articulation and very little paint apps. The legs are black. The body is white. There is a little bit of fake tattoos, a little bit of buckles and stuff. They did paint her to make her fit in. They didn't go quite that cheap, but there's a big difference between her and these guys. Okay, now let's look at this other fig here. This is I think it's Laeta, and she's like an elf mage. She's got this cool sort of vinyl cloak that's like wrapping around her in the wind. She's got a medicine bag she carries. She's got a lightning effect. There's actually this figure and the other figures, although I don't have these pieces, they do come with alternate hands on some of them that have magic effects. So I think this guy has like a flaming hand. She's got this weird water hand. And then I have the actual other hand for this particular figure, just so happens that's normal, right? So she's wearing kind of jeans, but they've got these weird magic symbols, and her feet are all like the jeans are cuffed like she's from the 50s or something, but she's clearly an elf. Really great looking face sculpt. She looks really kind of like pissed off and elven-y. Kind of weird clothes and belt buckle, like they're trying to make sure that you get that modern in with like this guy with the tie, and this girl, she looks like she's Tomb Raider girl, the boots and the, you know, skin tight, etc. So this is a little bit of that with a little bit of magic, but again, there's no articulation whatsoever. None on the feet, none on the knees, none on the legs, none on the torso. The head, of course, moves. The hands, they gave her the ball joint arms, and that's it. It's a statue with ball joint arms. So what this means is that these guys figured that the orcs and the trolls, the dudes essentially, were worth more putting money into in terms of articulation and parts and decoration and paint than these two, that they were not going to sell as well. And that's how they got taking the prices down, allowed these to get the price up or add more stuff to them. Okay, so two other guys came with Series 1, which I don't have. One guy's kind of a Zorro looking dude, another one's a dwarf. You know, get that fantasy in. So then we go to 6 guys in the next series, and I have two of them. I have this guy, he's some sort of Street Fighter guy. He just really looks like a generic Solid Gear looking dude with, looks like he could have a couple of, looks like kind of a street samurai. He's got sort of a thing over his head, looks like the drummer from the band Rush. He's got sort of a patch over his eye, kind of a Judge Dredd look with the shoulders. You know, 2 swords might look kind of cool with this guy. Kind of Road Warrior looking, futuristic, apocalyptic, you know, just sort of what you'd expect to fill in the range. And, you know, again, this guy's got a lot of articulation. You know, the elbows bend, the knees bend, the legs rock, that kind of thing. Ball joints, right? You could put some money into this guy. And then, one more guy from this series is this shaman dude. And he's totally looks like he's from the Outback Wasteland. He's got some kind of cool skull that he's wearing. He's got some sort of futuristic, you know, goggles that let him see at night. He's got all like the cool shaman feathers and the spear, and he's wearing some sort of like buckskin outfit. But you know, they gave him knees with hinges and a rotating torso, and ball joint arms, and hinged elbows and wrists that rotate, and a head that moves despite the fact that like he's got this giant scarf on. He looks pretty cool. I got to be honest with you guys. He's a cool looking dude. So, and you know, what I like about these guys is they could actually really fit in. They could fit in kind of anywhere, as far as like, you know, they could walk into like maybe a fantasy realm. Definitely the elf could. The troll mage, the big giant guy with horns, they could kind of hang out with other figures who have horns. And then the sort of the futuristic apocalypto guys, you know, they can find a home somewhere. You can always have one of those guys showing up on some time-traveling battlefield. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what that means. But anyways, these figures all come from the Shadowrun Duels, which were made by the HeroClix guys, sculpted by Plan B. They have a lot of sculpt and deco on them. It's over the top. The articulation is weak, still better than the McFarlane stuff. The female figures have almost no articulation. They just sort of put them out to help with the line, you know, make some cheaper figures. They probably didn't expect the sales to be that great of those anyways, and that the sales of the other guys were really going to drive it. You can find all these guys on eBay, on the cheap. I think if I see more of them and they're $5, $6, $7, doesn't matter if they've got any of the other pieces with them, I'm probably going to pick them up. I think I'm going to try and collect all of them, if nothing else, to make a complete posse who can all hang out together in the park and know that they're part of something bigger. So with that, I will say thanks to everybody who made it this far in the video. Thanks for sticking with it. I know it's a bit of autistic rambling, but there's often a payoff at the end. And in this case, it's going to be these 2 suggestion videos coming up right about now.